Slept in a little bit today. Um, I don't know if it really counts as sleeping in, considering how little sleep I got, but feeling all right. Um, yeah, what's on my mind today? I guess for me, I know that or or recently it's become pretty obvious that making living in a positive state as opposed to a negative one, and um, basically trying to focus on the fact that everything is going to be all right versus everything's going to fail is a better way to be, because if you're right, then you're right and everything works out, and if you're wrong, living in a perpetual state of unrest or expected failure is not really beneficial. Doesn't make these things easier to manage, and doesn't really set you up for success anymore than not being ready for them. Um, but I don't know that everything is the same emotionally. I'm trying to navigate that. Like I don't want to live thinking everybody is out to get me, or that every interaction is negative. But I think that maybe you do end up hurt or upset more often, and I don't know. I don't know if it's quite the same. Like, I don't know if not preparing for that um, is as beneficial. Like, I think getting blindsided by those kinds of things is maybe more detrimental. I don't know. I don't know how to navigate things like this quite as easily in my head. Um, I think that they tend to take a bigger toll on me. Um, and I think emotionally, I tend to try to find ways to soften the blow more often. I think that that's why I have all these unhealthy coping mechanisms as a way to sort of escape feeling that stuff. And so maybe that is the problem for me, and maybe that is the solution, is that I do need to face these things more to control the urges to lean on crutches or things like that, to to try and face the negative without coping mechanisms, so that I can learn that the end result is not as bad as it is in my head. Yeah, I don't really know on this one. Um, and maybe it is as simple as just like everything else, just doing what works for you, what makes things feel okay, and doesn't hurt the people around you. Um, yeah, I don't know with that one. I I don't know. I know I'm surrounded by a lot of amazing people that I could learn a lot from, and I do know that I want to hang on to the thoughts in my head and the way I'm feeling as much as possible, and just it's so much nicer to be open to what's going on around you, and to be able to see, even at the gym, or when you interact with some, like you're that's like, oh, that person came to the gym with a good attitude, or that person's responding in such a positive way, or whatever, or this person has a good mood every morning, or um, I definitely would like to keep pulling as much positive out of the day as I can, and try to keep interacting with that and making it maybe even a part of who I am. I don't know. It's yeah, it's nice to see um, more good in the world than bad. Um, yeah, and maybe I'll one day get into more specifics, or I'll find out a better way to talk about specifics. But product placement, like and subscribe. Uh, um, yeah, I don't have a ton this morning. I'm not feeling overly horrible or overly good. I do find myself standing up for and defending uh, this idea more and more often, that I wanna I want more out of life. I want I want to live this exciting life, and I want to do things that people don't do. And I don't, and I hope it's not spoiled, and I hope that it's not this like luxury patriarchal uh, belief that's rooted in systemic privilege or something like that. I don't, not to downplay any of that stuff, but I just like, I really hope that, like, to me this idea feels pure. It's not rooted in something like that I just get to do whatever I want, or like, it really is rooted in that I just get to do whatever I want, but I have grown up with that fundamental idea in my head despite the consequences. So I don't know that it's like it's privilege. I think that it's grown of this thing that I would rather live that way despite everything around me. And I think that at this point I I I want people to hurt a lot less because of that. Like, I don't want that to be putting pain and suffering into the world. But outside of that, I try not to dwell on too much on how other people feel about whatever I'm doing. Um, yeah, it's exciting for me to think about the fact that um, that I want to do and be able to say that I live a life that people don't. That like I'm that I want to do things and I'm willing to do things that people aren't, or whatever. Like and that's not a judgment on other people. It's that I want to lean into fear as much as possible for the rest of my life. Um, and I just want it to be an adventure, and it would be nice not to do that alone, but sometimes life is like that, and sometimes stuff like this has to be done alone. Significantly less complicated to go on an adventure by yourself, logistically. Yeah. I don't know. I'm rambling. Anyways, cheers to seeing what the world has to offer. Have a good day.